Our tradition of welcoming immigrants from around the world has given us a tremendous advantage over other nations. It's kept us youthful, dynamic, and entrepreneurial. It has shaped our character as a people with limitless possibilities. People not trapped by our past, but able to remake ourselves as we choose. But today, our immigration system is broken.
It's a song. You have songs of hope and songs of despair,
So I am originally from Loja, Ecuador, which is a beautiful country in South America. And I came to the United States when I was 9 years old. And this was a little bit, almost a 5-year period from being away from my parents, because they came to the United States when I was 5 years old to be able to work and raise some money to be able to send us to a good school.
Most families leave their children behind to find better paying jobs in America. There are currently 11.7 million undocumented immigrants living in the United States.
Growing up without my parents was really hard. I remember talking to my dad a couple of weeks after he left. He called us at 5 o'clock in the morning and asking him about how things were going. And it was always really hard to say goodbye. Like, we really tried our best to keep our conversations very short because it was very expensive. But there was always a long period of time where we were very quiet, and you could hear my dad like crying in the background, and myself too, and always being like, when are you coming home? And that's what it was.
When parents leave their home countries to try and get a better paying job in the United States, the emotional impact it has on their children is unavoidable and scarring. According to UNICEF, there are challenges in parenting, and resulting separation erodes family structures and relationships.
It's really hard to just even think about it. It's really hard because I remember at school, like every time we had a show or anything like that, and it was Mother's Day or Christmas or anything, and I remember always thinking that my parents were gonna walk through a door and surprise me while I was on stage. It was also really hard when Mother's Day or Father's Day. I remember my principal would tell the kids after we were done with our shows to go hug their parents, and I had my parents to hug. But I had my grandmother who pretty much stepped up, and she was like both my mother and my grandmother at the same time, and my father. So I'm very blessed to have her in my life and to have such a strong relationship with her. But yeah, being undocumented for my parents, it's hard. I mean, I was talking to my dad about this last night. He was telling me, being undocumented, you feel like you're always in the shadows. You're always hiding yourself, trying to not to put a lot of attention to yourself because you don't want to bring negative attention, or even good attention sometimes can be bad for us.
Obama's executive action has 3 main aspects. First, to add more resources to our border control. Second, to bring more higher skilled employees to America. And finally, figure out what should be done with the millions of undocumented immigrants within our country.
One of the biggest things is always thinking about your family, over everything that you do, and also being scared of deportation, that you're gonna go out to work today but you might not come home, or your wife might not come home, or your kids might not come home, and you don't know where they are. So I come from a mixed status family where my parents and my sister, my older sister and I are both undocumented, and then we have a little sister who was born here in the United States. So she is now 9 years old, and everybody else in our family doesn't have a status. Even with DACA is not a permanent status or anything, but at least we have this protection from deportation. So we come from a lot of different immigration statuses that you may say.
The United States is made up of a population that will continue to expand in the future.
Going to authorize up to 5 million illegals here in the United States of America, announcing it as soon as Thursday and then throwing a grand old party in Las Vegas, Nevada, maybe teaming up with some hookers and getting involved in some kind of gangbang or something while he's at it, this evil prick that makes up the president of the United States today.